Welcome to L&L Podcast, Diaries of Strong Black Women.
This is a podcast where we'll be discussing experiences that we as Black women face on a daily basis. Our podcast will be broken down into different series. With that being said, welcome to our relationship series.
Hi, everybody. So excited. You can see our faces. The faces behind the voices.
Yeah.
I love that. Welcome to our second episode of L&L Podcast. And I'm excited to be doing this again with my girl, Lindy.
Yes. Hi, Lingo. And I'm so excited that we are back again. And yes, like Lingo said, you guys can now see us and see the voices. Well, the faces behind the voices, if so to say. We hope that you guys enjoyed our last episode and hopefully you'll enjoy today's episode.
Yes, so, and also we did mention that we're not going to be by ourselves in all the episodes. So today we do have joining us, and they're going to be part of the conversation and help us navigate this and unpack this further, because as much as we are the ones who we both experience our own experiences, it's also good to hear others are going through, and maybe they can share a different light.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
And as you guys can remember, our last episode was basically about different types of relationships that we've been in. We had the homosexual and we had the broke guy. So basically, we're going to have a recap and opinions of other people on the different types of relationships that they've had. And we just take it on from there.
Yeah, and we're also going to just talk about, a lot of guys were saying it's just only very, woman-sided.
One-sided.
So we do have a male representative to come and, guide us through this and also share some of the, pain points that we'd also like to know as women from men. So can our two guests please jump on and introduce yourselves? And I think we can start with the lady. She can introduce herself, and then the man can also come in and introduce himself.
Hi, my name is Kush. It's not my ID name, but it is my street name. As you know, we have the lingos of the world. And I thought it would be really great to be part of this conversation because I love talking, but apart from that, I really do enjoy conversations that are about, personal relationships and also what our life experiences, have been. Because often, more often than not, our life experiences, if we share them and we keep talking about things that we've been through, we can, impart knowledge. We can laugh at them. We can, just really, really be real and be vulnerable with ourselves. So thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for coming, Kush. All right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, there on the side.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I'm Lesego Zico. Honestly, I'm very scared of sharing my thoughts and my experiences here. However, Lingo, we've spoken about this with Lingo for a while and we've been sharing a lot. So when she did say, look, I think I want us to have a discussion, I agreed to it. So security, I'm here.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys got to listen to our last podcast. Basically, we had Lingo sharing her experience with the homosexual, which was a guy who basically she had under her roof, she was paying rent, and then he disappeared. And then we had myself, who I was just in a toxic relationship with a broke guy who clearly had a very bad or very low self-esteem. So I don't know who wants to share their opinion first about their experiences of maybe a similar kind or a different kind of relationship that wasn't so great.
Well, for me, I'm not going to be very specific about who and what I've dated, simply because I like to respect my security. I like to respect my space. But I have had some interesting relationship experiences, which at the time were incredibly painful. But I think with some introspection and reflection, whatever. I'm able to speak from them now and understand, maybe what something meant that I wasn't maybe willing to see it at the time. Yeah. So I've had a colorful relationship. I have a colorful relationship history. Here we go.
Do you have one that stands out specifically, or?
You tell. I have those who, I was overly generous with the resources and time, and I have those.
Wait! Before you continue, sounds like a homosexual to me. But anyway, as you were saying, overly with my resources, love the term.
And I have those who were overly, who exploited, I suppose, me emotionally. Who took a lot and never wanted to be accountable. I think even to this day, if one of my exes ever comes across this, they'll probably be very defensive about it. But like I always say, it's your truth, it's your experiences, and I know that I'm not defaming someone in what I'm saying because it happened to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Can I just say something? Lesego, obviously we are sharing our journeys in terms of the types of men, right? And I think you could just tell us, based on, you heard our conversation on our first podcast, you just listened to what Kolosa had to share, and I know I can feel like, Lynn, from my side, there's just like the same patterns, right? Mm-hmm. And it usually just goes back to men being with us even though they're not into us, right? And as a guy, please, dear Dolly,
go wrong.
Why does that happen? Why do men do that? And obviously it's not, you're not saying all men do that, but like from your perspective, why do men do that?
Look, honestly, Kaufela, we've got all our different experiences. And I won't lie, when she said accountability, it's one of the things, Vele, that we are really, it's difficult for us to sometimes step up. We know, Honale, those times where it happens that we're in a situation we cannot explain to our woman for what's going on, what's happening. We rather keep it inside ourselves than actually, say, I'm struggling here or there. And then you find someone who actually comes through and says, okay, look, I'll help you out, even times are tough and etc. And at that point in time, it's not the person you were expecting. Unfortunately, because you know how we go. We all have this tick list, so etc. etc. But then at the same time, then you have this relationship with this person that you were not expecting, and you find this person actually is stepping up more than anybody else has ever stepped up in your life, and you end up taking advantage of the situation. So we know it. We are fully present and aware when it does.
So you are aware.
No, we are aware that this one takes care of me, and this one,
So basically,
we are aware,
like a comfort.
We are aware that somebody's paying attention, to you, because most of the time we always wanna pay. We always think women about attention, but now when the attention comes back to us, it's not something to one told. We haven't, as growing up, we never had that. It's always about, you must go to, it's the woman that must be given the attention, but Rona, when it comes to us, we don't have that. And then when somebody does do that, that does give us that kind of level of attention. It's a bit tough to swallow. And then at the same time, but we are aware, okay, actually, I don't really want to be here, but because of the situation,
So wait, you don't really want to be here, but you're going to take advantage of the situation. Ain't that funny, though?
In a way, yeah. I mean, we're saying it's working for us. You're taking care of
But
me.
is there
You're paying
some sort?
attention.
Do you guys feel bad? Like, okay, I want to know if you guys feel bad, like a tiny whimsy, like you sometimes and also, please, Rukupa, help us. How do we as women get to, because we all went through the same thing, guys. We see the red flags, we hold on, we hope, na. But the Rukupa tips, Joe, wow, it's new.
But honestly, I mean, you know what? When it comes to yes, sorry, Kush, yeah.
Sorry, Mr. B. Can I say something though? If we're gonna take tips, ladies, I think that we also need to be. I'm gonna use this word again. We also need to be very accountable of our decisions.
Definitely.
It's all good and well.
Definitely.
And unfortunately, yes, you can kill me now. I did not listen to previous podcast to link on to today's episode, but there's a lot of when we come out of these situations, there's a lot of nigga did this to me, nigga, use my money, buy whatever, live in my house, ate my food, ate my bread.
And he didn't ask you.
The thing is, he didn't ask
you.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I think that before Mr. B gives us tips, one of the major tips is all you decided to do with no one asking you to do it. So yes, the decent thing to do when you do good for someone, the decent thing to do as someone who's on the receiving end is acknowledge, appreciate, and try to reciprocate it when you can. However, I find that there's a great... Yes, that's a decent thing to do. But that's also a situation, assuming that this person comes from that, always reacts from that point in life, always reacts from a point that they receive, they appreciate, and they can reciprocate. No homosexual starts off as a homosexual. They start off...
definitely.
Yeah, so they start off with you allowing them in your space and saying, oh, you don't have to leave on Sunday. You can stay here on Monday. Or you can spend the whole week. Oh, I'm not asking you to pay for the electricity for the week. Oh, I'm going to get the groceries.
So, Kush, just to add on what you're saying, like you did put a disclaimer that you didn't listen to our first episode. So in that, we actually did touch on the accountability part of things. And I'm like, Lindy and I are totally agreeing with you. Like, it was a reflection. I even mentioned that it was a reflection of my lack of self-love, my dependency, like how I never believed in myself that much. And if I felt like if I didn't do anything, the person would leave. Do you know what I mean? So
it's that fear.
I realized why that. Yeah. So the accountability, we did discuss the accountability that, yes, everything that happens to us also, we need to be able to see how we allowed it to happen. Because like you said, the person staying under your roof, we allow them to stay in our house. We allow them to stay in our space. And we don't want them to go because we're afraid to be alone. And then we're going to cry wolf and say, oh, he used me.
When I think as females, we also we need to accept and enjoy our own company and also be able to call somebody out when they're doing shit. Mind my language, sorry. So when you can see something's wrong, don't just chill and be like smiling at him and shit. You have to be able to just be like, look, I'm not vibing with this. You stayed 3 years in my house. You haven't paid for anything. How is that normal? I mean, a normal human being, a normal adult knows what has to happen.
And
the first month they don't pay. sorry, Coach. The first month they don't pay, and we say nothing. The second, because we're thinking you're an adult, you will be.
It will ring.
We all know that you can't live for free, right? And then the second month, the third month, and we allow it. It's late. You're gone, girl. Oh, going to be raising the man.
And also, and I think that maybe Mr. B can confirm or deny this thing. My friends and I were actually talking about this past weekend because we were all talking about our bad experiences and things that men have done to us. You know how girlfriends will sit and talk about that?
Adding spice.
And we were like, yeah, and we were like, one thing we also need to admit to ourselves is that these guys that do these things, and almost live off you or stay in the relationship, still abuse you one way or the other, they do show up and do the things that they are meant to do to other women. Simply because those women have set the standards of, oh, you want a drink? You won't buy it. And you won't buy me a drink. You see what I mean? That's the thing. When men can read the room and can see, I can't get away with it. They don't get away with it.
Yes,
they
definitely.
put themselves in those situations.
Yeah.
But if they have a Lego in their life who's going to do everything, why must they stress? Lingo will take care of it. Kush will take care of it. Lindy will take care of it. It is what it is. Like men, I mean, look, I may come across as someone who's anti-men or whatever. Oh, definitely not. What I've learned about men is that in their nature, they're opportunists. So they read a person well enough to go, oh, Lorna, she can see me with another girl at Groove, and I may be holding that girl's hand, but I know that I can, after tonight, I can send her a text and call her and explain, take me back. Whereas he knows with another girl, she can't even see me talking or smiling at another girl because I could lose her. Men are very good at reading what they can get away with and what they can't get away with, and they treat it as on an individual basis. They don't just, like we love to say, oh, men are dogs. They're very quick to be able, very quick in being able to separate who's who.
All right. So as I was saying, the only thing you need to do is pay attention. Kush put it very well. We know what we prioritize. We know what choices we make. We're always aware of them. We know very well that we can get away with this, we can get away with that. We've seen it. We see it over time. With whichever partner that we're with at that time, we can say that, okay, oh yeah, now what's it worry, like I can't even call my parents in front of her. She will flip. So we know away with, and what we can't get away with. So just pay attention, because even you pick it up, you pick it up, you set the red flags. We all have different kind of red flags, There's others that you're going to see clearly for this situation I'm getting myself into. I should just walk away right now. And then others you can tell, they're very subtle, manipulative. They make you feel guilty, even though you're not, you're not the guilty one. They're very subtle. You can pick them up. You can slowly but surely see them. So, yeah.
I think to what you're saying, it goes back to what we said in our first episode, and also what Koloso was saying. It just seems like we women also really, 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 really need to do a lot of work on ourselves and create those boundaries and to protect ourselves. We need to. The guys already found a strategy. The guys already winning on their strategy. We give up our hopes. We give out our do's and don'ts, our dislikes and everything. And because they're manipulators, they will use that to then be there for you with what your do's and don'ts, right? However, then they still do all those horrible things, but we don't see it. Like for me right now, I'm not going to touch on it a lot, but I recently come from a relationship, and the red flags that I was not paying attention to, which I did see, but like if you see me now, I'm a clown, because I sat down and unpacked all those red flags, and I removed those, in love eyes, I removed those, and I looked, and I looked, and I looked, and I was like, whoa. The work doesn't stop. We need to constantly work on ourselves, protect our peace. We write those statuses, we share those quotes, but I
think it's also that thing. It's also that thing where you want something to change, but you're not making any change yourself. Because I do think
we allow one saying,
if you want something to change, you need to look inside yourself and be like, what am I doing that's condoning this behavior? And so I need to change that in order for that behavior to change as well. So it's a whole thing that if you see the red flags, look at, like they were saying, the guys have got a strategy. try and figure it out, because I think most of the time their strategy is not that great and it's easy to see. It's just you constantly thinking, maybe if I show him.
No, but we see it. They would buy us.
Wait, if I can just interject here. I see you and Lindy are very passionate on this topic. Another thing we need to be in life in general, and I think it works a lot. It works a lot in relationships, but in life in general, be very careful of the person who only portrays themselves in two ways: as the victim, victor, like the victim or the guy who saves the day. Because if you're never at any point a perpetrator, it means you're telling me that at no point in your life are you ever the one in the wrong.
Yeah, you're perfect.
And if you go back and you think about these relationships that have taught you life lessons, a lot of the time the person is either presented themselves in two forms: as the victim of the situation, oh, my girlfriend cheated on me and then did this and did that. Or they saved the day. Oh, she couldn't pay rent and then I stepped in. No. There's always how they are saving the day all of a sudden, or they have been, they've been screwed over. If someone is never able to tell you, you're in this situation, I share my screwed Bantu over, there's a problem. He or she are already trying to portray themselves as a very, extreme goods in the world. And that's a lot of BS. With yourself, take it with your friends. If someone is only ever telling you how they are good or how they were screwed over, it's either they have a very unrealistic view of themselves, where they never do wrong, or they are deliberately hiding it so they don't show up to you as someone who is capable of hurting someone else.
Out of curiosity, have you met girls who are also the perpetrators of such situations? Because I think it's a two-way thing. I think we like saying that, obviously, because majority of us are girls right now, but I think it will be easy for us to just be like, ooh, guys this. But fact is that there are girls who do the same thing.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes, of course. I just don't think I think I've met women who have cheated, yes, obviously. But and I think I've met women who have stayed in relationships for financial reasons, stayed in longer than they should have for financial reasons. I don't think I have met the ones who take it to extremes, where like I literally clean you out of house and home, and then I've moved on to the next person, or I ghost you. That for me, life has taught me a lot of the times it's men who do that, and simply because they can get away with it. Because when it's the other way around, men have a lovely way of showing you that I own you. You forget that hair, that dress, or whatever is, I gave you that. Whereas women, it takes them a longer time. And maybe it's also the way we've been brought up, that a lot of us come from Black households. We are kuma, and trying to translate that. You always, a man must always be in his crown, in his glory. So even when there are things that are happening that take away from that, you as the woman, it is not your duty to remind a man of where he has failed as a man. So by the time Lingo or Kush or Lindy is coming out saying that nigga did that, you have to understand how long she has been quiet. More often than not, more often than not, you'll find that it's the other way around when it comes to men. Like, men will remind you, men will cut off your allowance, men will, that kind of stuff. And also because men don't necessarily, you will find that maybe you will do something for someone and you're more wanting to nurture the person and take care of them and protect them. And that could be a whole other conversation.
Yeah, obviously.
Look, Kush, my experience for me, I disagree. I've seen we prefer to talk with other agents about what did I do for her, and she did this and she did that. That's where we have our gatherings. We prefer to talk with other gents rather than actually remind a woman, this is what I've done, this and this for you. Yes, there are those who do it, But majority of machita nowadays, they would rather more complain to, pour out exactly their thoughts, etc., to other than they would say to women. And another thing is, on the flip side, we never see a woman as somebody who's a homosexual. Because we love to take care. We want to step up. We wanna be seen as that. We wanna feel like as the providers, So yeah, so it's part of our is our pride, as you say, like, to say that that's what we like, that's what we prefer. So it's naturally in us to say to what. So I've never heard a guy complain for you or no, hey, Mucho just moved into homosexual, whatever it is. We complain that you move in and you take over, but not necessarily that you moved in and we did everything for you, etc. Actually, most of the people that end up being in long-term situations in a certain way, they prefer that setup where it doesn't matter how much the woman is making, as long as I'm felt as a provider still in this relationship.
But that's your pride. That's your male ego. That's a lot of that. It's got nothing to do. It's got nothing to do with it doesn't happen. You see what I mean? Because even in those situations where you are, the reason we have terms like homosexual, because there is this new culture, and it's not like it hasn't existed. I'm telling you, I'm sure there's uncles and grandfathers who did exactly the same thing. When the woman ran, whatever. But a lot of the times you found that she, it wouldn't be very obvious that she's the, unless you're close relatives, that she's taking care of the household. But a lot of the times she'd come and, give him the money to look like, to give him that head of the household status. But now in these situations, we're finding that, women are earning more or are, they are earning more. And they're dating these men for whatever reason. And it can be love, guys. And it also can be possession. Someone you like to control. If I can control you using my money and my resources, then so be it. But at the same time, there's this culture that's become quite, prevalent with men where you're coming in to live off someone and then you're still using that person's money or whatever to attract other women.
Yes.
So whilst Lindy's not at home, you are bringing in Tsepiso, and you're saying to Tsepiso, this is my girlfriend's place. Tsepiso assumes that you are taking care of it. Meanwhile, out darling, a toilet spray. You know what I mean?
And what Kush is saying, you know how the pride of a man when he is taking care of a woman. Where is that pride of a man
being looked after
when he's a homosexual? I don't think
it's gone. It's not there.
They get so defensive. Guys, you can never take a homosexual.
No, it is there because a lot of the times when that happens, it's not that this guy is comfortable with it and his pride is, accepting the fact that you are the breadwinner or you are the one bringing home the bacon. Do you know where he then where that sense of emasculation is somehow comforted? It's when he brings Tsepiso and he flosses to Tsepiso about what he supposedly has. So then that is somehow gives him this, even the thing of we live in whatever area, this is our place. Yeah.
You don't even know how much the levy is.
Another red flag. Clown material.
But Kush is spot on. Have you ever heard of a homosexual who does not cheat though?
No, that's their game. That's their game plan. That's their MO.
It is because at some point you've got to feel like a woman somewhere. It's even like, let's flip the roles. When a woman is, let's say she's even not necessarily permanently living there, but is at a boyfriend's place 24/7. We have this sense of loving to be owned one way or the other. It's my man's place. I'm going to my boyfriend's place. I'm going to my boo's place. And even if you're going to go, I'm there 24, like our place. Yeah, you know what I mean? We survived winter, Amandla. So, so as much as we have that, someone who is not, most often than not, a man who's not doing anything, it is ours. It is ours. When he speaks to, when you're going to, hangouts with other people, with other couples, or you're in relationships, it's ours. He's not going to say my girlfriend is, but yes, we are hosting. We are. It's crazy. And on the flip side, I know men who have opted not to date women simply because they go, when I look at this, I'm not going to be okay with the imbalance. I'm not going to be okay that you double or triple my salary. Yeah. So it's not like I don't like you, but I know that my ego is going to get in the way. So Ngogo, when I'm dealing with the dog at the end, I'm just like, how could he? What? No, baby girl. He's always shown you the signs. He's always shown you the signs.
Yeah.
That's what Lesego said. Pay attention.
And also, we as women love to romanticize the situation. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being in love, guys. It's beautiful. When done right, it's amazing. And now even you think, you were dating a homosexual, you were dating this kind of guy, my exes did this. At some point, you were extremely happy. At some point, you were so like, I thank the God.
Smitten.
The God has smiled on me. My ancestors, you were smitten. So own that, because you did the best you could with the information you had. Don't be too hard on yourself on that, because you will spend your life beating yourself up about everything.
I'm healing. I'm healed. I'm good. I'm good.
I mean, a general conversation. But like, so that's be too hard on yourself. But now I know the truth. Your truth. If this guy is,
and we need to set our boundaries, guys. We need to stick to what we. What you're saying, Colossus? Like, what the amount of love we are able to give and transfer into another human being, like another man. Imagine if it sounds like something not impossible, but imagine if we could take all that love and like give it to love and guard ourselves with that love. We'll be able to we'll be able to block ourselves from a lot. But we are so, like you said, we romanticize love because yes, you're actually not a bad person. Yes, you are beautiful. Yes, you got it all together. But you allow shit. You allow it. You're too lazy to let it go. And like you say also, Colossa, yes, it was once beautiful. But
you need to know when the train has stopped.
Exactly. When it's beautiful, because we ignore all the mistakes. It's beautiful because we ignore all the bad things. Because we want to romanticize it and see the beauty.
And yes, even at the beginning of a relationship, a guy needs to ask you for Uber fare or taxi fare to come see you. Still at the stage of impressing you. Baby girl, he's never going to be out here paying for you to go to Bali. Never.
I've been with minimum wages for the past few years.
Never mind paying for a cab. As simple as making you pay for KFC. Nyana.
But listen,
Streetwise. He's saying, baby, please hold that. Oh, that. 69
It would be different if already in the relationship that's what's happening.
From the jump, he's saying he doesn't have 60 bucks.
Babe.
You'll never have it.
So I want to know from Lesego.
The honest truth is, you're right.
Okay.
If even paying at a restaurant and a woman paying at a restaurant, already it's like, yeah. No, serious.
I'm even making it simple.
Like you're spot on there. You're spot on there. If somebody already you are paying for KFC in the beginning, I know. Just yeah. No.
When not okay, can you just give us like 3? For me, I'd like to know. I don't know about you guys, ladies. When is he not into you beyond just the signs? Because also, guys, we're here to love each other. We're not here to micromanage and microscope the hints and tips and like beyond us doing the work.
There's the obvious.
Oh, actually, what is your obvious sign?
The obvious signs. I mean, everybody cries about communication. The obvious signs is there. It's if if I really can go more than a day without talking to you, I'm not there. I can be busy. Yes, like for the day. But at some point, I'm going to be like, that person, I want to talk to that person again. If I don't want to talk to you after that, then you must just know. Like, and I can let a week pass. Can I look how much worry? Oh, like, I gotta, like, after a week,
Nice.
a day passes, but I'll check. Come on.
But guess what? Us girls, here we are. We are there. We are still within that makeup, the clown makeup.
Look, I mean, obviously, one of the things, obviously, from the beginning is that obviously that chemistry must be there. If you guys are like, you love the humor, Latirisana, etc., you must be sharing those jokes with each other throughout the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So if I'm not sharing with you, I'm sharing with somebody else.
Obviously, if you're not laughing with me, definitely you're laughing with somebody else.
This was insightful, and Lindy and I actually spoke less, which is great because we also want you guys' voices. So from my side, Lingo, the co-host, thank you to our lovely guests, Kush and Lesego. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and to everybody who subscribed and like shared our content and your feedback. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yes, definitely, guys. We really appreciated both of your opinions. They were both very insightful and they were both very entertaining to listen to. And at least for once, like Lingo said, no one's just listening to us. So hearing other people's opinions shows that we are not going crazy. There are situations out there in the world. So, yeah, thanks to everybody who has subscribed, and hopefully we'll have more subscribers. So, yeah, thanks, guys.
Subscribe now. Here. Bye.
We need a part 2.